Hello friends, let's take a moment to remember. In today's video, we will honor several notable Americans who have passed away in recent days, including actors, musicians, dancers, and designers. Though they are no longer with us, their legacies live on. In this video, we'll explore their lives and celebrate the incredible memories they've left behind. We'll also take a moment to pay tribute to their families. Be sure to join us and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you so much for watching.
Baseball fans around the world are mourning the loss of Rickey Henderson, one of the most iconic players in Major League Baseball history, who passed away at the age of 65. The Hall of Famer and all-time leader in stolen bases died on Friday, as confirmed by his family on Saturday. His death followed complications from pneumonia, for which he had been receiving medical treatment. Henderson's unparalleled legacy as the sport's stolen base king will forever be etched in baseball history, and his contributions to the game extended far beyond the statistics he amassed on the field. Over the course of his remarkable 25-season career that spanned 4 decades, from 1979 to 2003, Henderson became synonymous with base-stealing excellence. He ended his career with 1,406 stolen bases, a record that has yet to be broken. His playing career took him to 9 different major league teams, though his most significant stints were with the Oakland Athletics, who drafted him in 1976. He was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2009, cementing his place as one of the greatest to ever play the game. Henderson's wife, Pamela Henderson, released a statement reflecting on the life of a man who was much more than a baseball star. She described Rickey as a legend on and off the field, a devoted family man who was a loving son, father, friend, grandfather, brother, and uncle. She added that her husband lived his life with integrity and a passion for the game of baseball, and that now he is at peace with the Lord, cherishing the extraordinary moments and achievements he leaves behind. Rickey Henderson was born in Chicago and raised in Oakland, California, where he began to develop his signature style of play. A rare combination of skills, Henderson was one of the few players in MLB history who batted right-handed and threw left-handed, a unique trait that added to his mystique. In 1982, Henderson set the modern-era single-season stolen base record with 130, a feat that still stands today. In fact, he reached the milestone of 100 stolen bases in 3 of his first 4 full seasons, showcasing his unmatched ability to dominate the base paths. Henderson's impact on the game wasn't limited to his stolen base prowess. He also set the record for the most career leadoff home runs, with 81, further solidifying his reputation as one of the most dynamic players to ever play the game. He surpassed Lou Brock's career stolen base record in 1991, stealing his 939th base and becoming the new king of base stealing in MLB. Henderson's response to breaking the record was as bold and unapologetic as the player himself. Lou Brock was the symbol of great base stealing, Henderson remarked on that day. But today, I'm the greatest of all time. Henderson's statement sparked a great deal of debate and excitement in the world of baseball, and while some were taken aback by his confidence, Henderson later revealed that the comment was not made in haste. In fact, he had discussed it with Brock beforehand, and the two shared a mutual respect for each other's accomplishments. Henderson's confidence in calling himself the greatest base stealer was consistent with his larger-than-life personality. The line continued to resonate throughout his career, and it became part of his identity. Though Henderson's brashness and personality often made him a polarizing figure, those who played alongside him recognized his immense talent and the impact he had on the game. Dennis Eckersley, a Hall of Fame pitcher who played with Henderson on the Athletics, praised Henderson as the greatest player I ever played with. Eckersley noted the longevity and excellence Henderson maintained throughout his career despite playing with so many legendary players. Known for his flashy style of play and charisma, Henderson never shied away from drawing attention to himself on and off the field. His larger-than-life persona was a significant part of the entertainment value he brought to the game. His enthusiasm and sense of showmanship made him a fan favorite, and he often remarked that part of his job was to entertain, ensuring that the game was as enjoyable for the audience as it was for the players. Hall of Famer Paul Molitor, Henderson's teammate in Toronto with the Blue Jays, echoed this sentiment, saying that Henderson viewed his role as both a performer and a player, and that he wanted fans to enjoy the product on the field. Henderson was also an integral part of multiple championship teams. He won World Series titles with the Oakland Athletics in 1989 and the Toronto Blue Jays in '93. While his base-stealing feats were the hallmark of his career, Henderson's contributions to these teams extended to his leadership, his power hitting, and his on-base skills. In 1990, Henderson was named the American League MVP after an outstanding season in which he hit 28 home runs, stole 65 bases, and posted a league-leading .416 on-base percentage and 1.016 OPS. His performance stars. Former President Jimmy Carter, celebrated for his humanitarian efforts around the world following his presidency, passed away at the age of 100. While his time in the White House was marked by a period of challenges, it was his post-presidential life that earned him global admiration. His contributions to peace and human rights overshadowed his years in office, and his legacy will be remembered as a beacon of compassion and service. My father was a hero not only to me but to everyone who believes in peace, human rights, and unselfish love, stated Chip Carter, the former president's son, in a heartfelt tribute. He went on to explain that his family shared these values with the world and that their father had united people through his dedication to these principles. The world is our family because of the way he brought people together, and we thank you for honoring his memory by continuing to live these shared beliefs, Chip added. Carter passed away in his hometown of Plains, Georgia on Sunday. In November 2023, his beloved wife of 77 years, Rosalind, had also passed away at their home, a modest residence they built together in 1961. At that time, Carter had just taken over his father's peanut warehouse business and had not yet seriously considered a career in politics. In February 2023, Carter had made the decision to end medical treatments and enter hospice care. During that time, his grandson, Jason Carter, who had visited his grandparents, shared that they are at peace and, as always, their home is full of love. Even at peace, Carter's political influence lingered. He had expressed his desire to vote for Vice President Kamala Harris in the 2024 presidential election, demonstrating his enduring commitment to the democratic process. Though his time as the 39th president was marked by some significant difficulties, Jimmy Carter's impact on American and global politics grew immensely in the years that followed. After leaving the White House at the age of 56, Carter remained one of the most influential and enduring figures in modern American politics, surpassing George H.W. Bush in 2019 as the nation's oldest living former president. Despite facing various health challenges, including a battle with brain cancer in 2015, Carter remained actively engaged in charity work, public speaking, and advocacy for human rights. His work in these areas continued until his final years, despite multiple health setbacks. Carter's tenure in the White House, 1907-1981, was marked by several significant diplomatic achievements. He brokered the historic Camp David Accords between Israel and Egypt, helped transfer the Panama Canal to Panamanian control, and expanded public lands in Alaska. Additionally, he played a key role in establishing formal diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China, which had lasting implications for U.S.-China relations. However, his presidency was not without its challenges. Carter's administration was plagued by soaring inflation, gas shortages, and the inability to resolve the Iran hostage crisis, which contributed to his loss in the 1980 election. Though he may not be remembered as one of the greatest presidents, historian Douglas Brinkley, who wrote a book about Carter's presidency, remarked that Carter is seen as a giant in American history. Brinkley noted, "He's never going to be ranked as a great president. He's middling as a president. But as an American figure, he's a giant." After his defeat in the 1980 election by Ronald Reagan, Carter's post-presidential years were marked by an outpouring of service and dedication to humanitarian causes. Even in his 90s, he worked as an election observer in developing countries, contributed to Habitat for Humanity, and taught Sunday school at Maranatha Baptist Church in Plains, Georgia. In 2002, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his tireless efforts to promote peace, human rights, and democracy. Carter often reflected on his presidency with a sense of humility. "I can't deny that I was a better ex-president than I was a president," he humorously remarked at a 2005 breakfast with reporters. His former White House staffer, David Rubenstein, recounted how, after Carter's loss in 1980, he was seen by many as a failure. But over time, his post-presidential work has redefined his legacy. Rubenstein noted, "For a long time, he was basically the symbol of a weak president and a terrible person. And today, 40-some years later, he's seen as a very incredible person who has had many good things he did, though he didn't get reelected." Born James Earl Carter Jr. on October 1, 1924 in Plains, Georgia, Carter grew up on a peanut farm, the son of Earl Carter, a peanut warehouser, and Miss Lillian Carter, a strong-willed registered nurse who later joined the Peace Corps at age 68. Carter's early life in Plains was modest, but he would go on to achieve remarkable things. He attended the U.S. Naval Academy, graduating in 1946, and so Yolanda Cornelia Nicky Giovanni Jr., the renowned poet and prominent civil rights activist, passed away on Monday in Blacksburg, Virginia, at the age of 81. Giovanni's death marks the loss of a trailblazer whose work spanned several generations and left an indelible mark on American literature and culture. Giovanni was a prolific figure in the worlds of poetry, activism, and education. Her contributions earned her numerous prestigious awards, including the Langston Hughes Medal, the NAACP Image Award, and an Emmy Award. She was also nominated for a Grammy Award. In addition to these honors, Giovanni's legacy as a writer and educator inspired countless individuals throughout her life. She is survived by her wife, Virginia Ginny Fowler, a writer and professor herself, and their son, Thomas Giovanni. In a statement shared with USA Today, Giovanni's relative, Allison Reagan, expressed the family's deep sense of gratitude for the lasting legacy of love and inspiration Giovanni left behind. "We will forever feel blessed to have shared a legacy and love with our dear cousin." Nicky Giovanni is widely recognized as one of the most influential African-American poets of the 20th and 21st centuries. Her rise to prominence began in the late 1960s as part of the Black Arts Movement, a cultural and artistic movement that sought to promote the values and contributions of Black people in America. Giovanni's work, which often explored themes related to civil rights, Black power, hip-hop culture, and personal identity, resonated deeply with readers both nationally and globally. Over the course of her career, Giovanni authored over 24 poetry collections, many of which became bestsellers. Some of her most notable works include her 1968 poetry collection, Black Judgment, and the 1983 publication, Those Who Ride the Night Winds. Her poetry became an essential part of the literary canon, admired for its raw emotional power and unapologetic exploration of Black life. Giovanni's work not only illuminated the struggles and triumphs of African Americans, but also captured the essence of what it meant to be a poet of the people. Her wife, Ginny Fowler, once described her as the definitive poet of the people, a fitting tribute to her ability to bridge gaps between different walks of life and offer insight into the complexities of Black identity. Giovanni's writing also delved deeply into themes of self-empowerment and love, often presenting an unflinching perspective on injustice while providing hope and solidarity. Born in Knoxville, Tennessee on June 7, 1943, Giovanni came into the world as the daughter of Yolanda Cornelia Sr. and Jones Gus Giovanni. Her early life took her on a journey from Knoxville to Cincinnati and Wyoming, before she ultimately returned to Knoxville, where she graduated from high school. Growing up in a time of significant social change, Giovanni was keenly aware of the importance of education and the need for Black voices to be heard and celebrated. Throughout her life, Giovanni's social circles included a wide array of influential figures who shaped not only the arts, but also the civil rights movement. She cooked with celebrated authors such as Margaret Walker, Maya Angelou, and Toni Morrison, even humorously asserting that she was a far superior cook than Angelou. Giovanni was friends with musical icons like Miles Davis, Dizzy Gillespie, and Nina Simone, and she traveled with boxing legend Muhammad Ali when he was unjustly stripped of his title. She was also a member of the same sorority as cultural icons like Aretha Franklin and political leaders such as Barbara Jordan. Her activism extended beyond literature, as she was present alongside Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton, the founders of the Black Panther Party, during pivotal moments in American history. Despite her involvement in such historic and high-profile circles, Giovanni was never one to chase fame for its own sake. Unlike many public figures of her time, She refrained from seeking attention in tabloid magazines and other sensationalized media outlets. As she once explained, "I haven't kept a low profile. I just don't have a need to be famous. That's not what I'm about. I am an artist, so what I would like is to be read." This humility, coupled with her fierce dedication to her craft, contributed to her authenticity and enduring influence as an artist. Giovanni's work resonated deeply with multiple generations of readers and listeners, particularly in the context of the civil rights movement and the fight for social justice. Her poetry, marked by its simplicity and clarity, often tackled the realities of racial inequality and the need for empowerment, but also celebrated the beauty of Black life and culture. As a teacher and mentor, Giovanni inspired countless young poets and activists, shaping future generations of writers and thinkers. Her legacy is not only defined by the awards and accolades she accumulated throughout